escape the volatility of the market with these big ups and downs. If you think about it, this platform is... Boom, we are back with another 10-minute eye test. This is Sasha and Carmelo from Arcanum Ventures. Thank you all for tuning in. Carmelo, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing well. Just a few technical difficulties today, but now we're cooking with fire and ready for the next video.
Cooking with flames. And now we're just going to go ahead and dive in. So this is an interesting one that I noticed came up on our radar like a few days ago when we were making the 3 token launch videos. And seems like there's some hype around it. So guys, I'm talking about what you can see right up here at the top. Upcoming IDOs on crypto rank Soil. $800,000 initial market cap. Close to $1 million public raise on CDeFi, Pools Finance, and Engine Starter, 3 of the more popular launch pads, and it's happening today. It's not AI, I think. It's DeFi. So, yeah, that'll be a little bit fun to dive into. Carmelo, do you know anything about this one?
I don't know anything about it, but I wanted to say maybe they'll sneak in a reference of AI somewhere in there. Like that'd be a fun little prediction to see if they figured out a way to jam in AI somewhere, AI DeFi. Also, I wanted to ask you, because I know, if I'm not mistaken, you're not really a big fan of initial market caps under $1 million, right? Is that right? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, from a tokenomics perspective, I'm not a fan of initial market caps below $1 million. And if you look, like the majority of projects that have been coming to market in general are under $1 million. And so the reason being, there was this idea that by launching micro cap tokens and creating a lot of hype around token launches, you'll see multiple X's from the public price for a market cap to reach like something that made sense. For like a tech startup, it could be 10 million. So in this case of like this project, Evalon, that could be 20x. That failed miserably. And, after the hype market or the hype cycle died, a lot of projects would launch with their micro caps and then they would still go like 1 or 2x. And then they'd be left with like a token supply for their product and their ecosystem worth like a few $100,000, which was not good for them financially. It was not good for them from PR perspective. So that was kind of like a mess. So for that reason, like price discovery is, in my mind, not a very valuable thing in the token launch space, especially when there's so much market manipulation, people pump and dumping, and like market makers. Oof, I can get into that one in a separate video.
Yeah, good old microcap summer.
It's a good band name. Soil DeFi. You know what? And I think you're right about the AI mentioned, because I noticed like CDeFi, a lot of these larger launch pads in the market right now, they've only been like hyping things and taking them to market with mentions of AI. So maybe we'll see something there. But if you're good to go, I'll go ahead and start the clock. We'll dive in.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Just I want to remind everybody, especially our new viewers, because I know we're getting more and more subscribers every day. So like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And if you're unfamiliar, in this video, we're going to tackle in 10 minutes. We're going to look into a company, determine if that token is a good investment or not. Obviously, it's not financial advice. It's just coming from real VCs that do this for a living. So we're going to show you our thought process as we dive into a new project we're unfamiliar with. And then we're going to show you our first initial thoughts. It doesn't mean it's, you should take our word and invest on that advice, but just take it as you will. And now I think we're ready.
Yep. And stick around till the end of the video where we give our verdict. And
yes.
So here we go. Boom. 10 minutes. Okay. We've got Soil, again, over 900K public raise launching today. A fully regulated global DeFi protocol. I kind of like those words.
Yeah, not as buzzy as usual buzzwords on here. So I respect that. I hope it's actually fully regulated. Like, it's kind of hard to verify that, especially different jurisdictions that it covers. There's, 200 jurisdictions in the world. So I'm curious to see how they're fully regulated globally.
Yeah, I mean that's a funny one. If you look here, check it out. I mean they're launching on Pools Finance, CDeFi, and Engine Starter. They're launching on IDO launchpads, and there's already a lot of controversy around that. And most likely, if regulations were to like be 100% in effect and like completely decided today, launchpads would probably not be compliant with like global regulations. If you look here, they've got lending and borrowing. That's another thing in my mind in the DeFi world that needs some work around it as far as regulations go. And then real world assets, RWA, is quickly becoming the new hype cycle in crypto. Not a lot of regulations around RWAs. Like we're still trying to figure all that infrastructure out. So I'm not sure if this really is fully regulated or if that's just like, you know, their tagline.
Yeah, and what's fully regulated today might not be fully regulated tomorrow. So we all know how quickly that moves.
It's a very good point. Looks like they're launching on Polygon. Fully diluted market cap of 18 million. You know, that's not bad. That's I guess right in the middle of like an acceptable range. Total raise of close to $4 million. So let's go ahead and dive into the website then. All right, Carmelo, it's all you, man.
Okay, that is a very chaotic front page. I mean, there's a lot to click on. I don't think we're going to get through even 10% of the site. You know, they've done the classic featured in on the bottom, which I'm not a big fan of because, as we all know, you can pay to play. You can pay your way onto a lot of these platforms, whatever you want to call them. But the call to action, you got explore, which is a terrible call to action because they're not telling you what to explore. Waiting list, not sure what the waiting list is for. Obviously, like maybe to use the platform or sign up as an early adopter. You got your social links, which is good. My eye keeps going to that beautiful Watchhour teaser. So I think that's what we got to do. Learn a little bit, get some context.
Let's do it.
My goldfish brain is like, watch that video.
Nobody would expect
This music is way too intense for DeFi.
Our new reality. The stable world turned upside down. Falling banks.
I'm already depressed. It's ruined my day.
Crypto market, bankruptcies and collapses of the crypto projects, conflicts, climate crisis, immigration crisis, inflation, and all the errors that we overlooked. Creating the system got revealed. We were struck by huge changes. What do we need in the world run by chaos? We desire stability and peace. From the combination of thoughts about these values and the analysis of market mechanisms arose Soil, a fully regulated, seamless link between traditional finance and the digital crypto world, offering secure returns fully backed by tangible, real-world assets. Real team, real yield, real assets, real money. For real.
Okay.
Woo, man, that was a roller coaster.
I mean, I like the name and the logo. First off, the branding is very sleek, so they did a great job building the actual website. Yeah. That video was technically good marketing coming from a marketer, but I don't know. I feel so much anxiety, and it's kind of funny if you think about it. Like, look how broken our world is. Trust crypto degens. We'll guide you into the future. Like, I want to believe it so badly, but I don't know. You see a lot of the teams in crypto. We talk to so many teams every day, and idea of any of them building a new financial system for the world, it kind of scares me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, they can't even get like a CRM to work properly. You know, one thing that like I didn't really like in this video, obviously the production quality is fantastic. I wonder how much, you know, these guys paid to make that thing. I kind of thought it was in bad taste. Like if you look at the video and like the call to action and like the big overview, basically it created a lot of anxiety. It listed like all of the world's problems. It showed like riots and all this stuff. And then it was like, Soil will help solve all of this with our 14% yield. He's like, why, how is this like a solution to everything that you've shown here? But hey, I mean, more power to them, I guess, if that's their vision.
Yeah, like El Nino and like the climate and the wildfires in Canada, they're just going to stop because they're like, did somebody say 14% yield? We're good here.
Okay, so we've got secure returns on stable coins backed by real world assets. So to me, it sounds like, you can come to this DeFi platform. You can, operate with our different DeFi vehicles, investment opportunities, etc. And then whatever yields that we give you for, I guess, like staking or investing in these products are backed by like a portfolio of real world assets that are appreciating in value. So it's not a Ponzi scheme. And I guess the 14% yield is conservative enough where that can make sense and it can be sustainable. If it was like 14% yield and all of our portfolio collateral is just like USDC, then I'd be very concerned.
What's great is it says up to 14%. So, what's up to 14% is 1%. So like they're not really actually promising anything. I always had this problem with dollar stores back home, like in the US, like especially the ones, like the whole idea of a dollar store is that you should be able to buy anything for under $1. But there were stores that's like, no, everything is above $1 store. And I was like, that's the worst idea ever. That's just a store. Like you just don't have anything under $1.
Yeah.
So up to 14%, I at least appreciate that it's realistic. Like they're not promising wild yield because that's obviously not sustainable. But pretty understandable. I've seen platforms like this with stable staking. What I'm wondering about is what the soil token does. And I see that tab on the top. So maybe we can just check that out.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is probably the most important thing here. These guys are launching a token. In my mind, this DeFi platform does not need a token. But here's what it's about.
I mean, I just saw there, I think they give you that 14% yield, theoretically 8% in stables, 6% in their own token. So it is a way to kind of give something without giving it all in actual stable coin value, which I have seen before on other platforms, I think like Nexo and Swissborg. So I think that's pretty much the standard in the industry, but I'm curious to see what other mechanisms they've baked into this token to justify its existence besides that, like yield boosting.
This is actually kind of funny because most people, we talk about this all the time. Most people think tokenomics is the pie chart investing schedule. But the funny thing is we're not even going to take a look at the pie chart and the vesting schedule. We're going to look at these three things that are right in front of us and tell you whether this project's tokenomics are good or not, in our opinion. And so they've got the soil token, which captures the protocol's profits and through its deflationary tokenomics increases in value as the protocol scales up. The funny thing is, that's also the rewards mechanism. So it's inflationary. And so, you are rewarded as part of your yields on the DeFi platform. It said 8% in USDC up to 6% in the token. And so where is the value for the token coming from if it's inflationary? If they're just going to give out token rewards, then the value of the token will go down over time. And in fact, that'll accelerate with user adoption. So are these real world assets that are generating revenue or accruing in value? Are they being sold by a portfolio manager and then used to buy back tokens? You see here, Yield Booster. Enjoy increased yields on stablecoins by locking your soil tokens in the protocol. So this to me kind of indicates Ponzi-nomics, right? We're going to give you a bunch of tokens and that's going to be the reward. And also, in order for us to incentivize you not to dump and tank the token price, we're going to give you other incentives like a yield booster, which is even more tokens. And so that's like, without even looking at the pie chart on these tokenomics, I'm not a fan.
I'll just say in their defense, the yield booster is also fairly typical. So I wouldn't say it's Ponzi-nomics. I think it's just what the industry uses for this. And they're not just giving out their own token. Like that yield includes stable coins as well that is coming from the protocol that's backed by real world assets. So I think that's worth considering. And It doesn't mean I love that idea, but it is better than any idea that anybody else has thought of yet, at least for this. And I will say, before we give our verdict, and before I say like and subscribe and do all that stuff, I think as the next bull market comes, we have a lot of people that got burnt pretty badly last cycle. They didn't take enough at the top. They didn't put enough into stable coins. So stuff like this is helpful because it helps people take their gains and then keep them in stable coins. So you'll be able to stake your stable coins and make some money. Yeah, it won't be like 3x or 4x like people in crypto always talk about, but it will be, generating some yield passively. I think that's important. And I think these will become increasingly more popular next bull market. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of newbies that come in and don't know. They haven't learned that painful lesson yet. They haven't been around for a few cycles or even one cycle. So, but all the people we typically talk to, I'm sure they're going to be using stuff like this. They learn their lesson. They're not going to get too greedy. They're going to put more into stables. Maybe like 33% of their portfolio will be in stables at any given moment because, we don't know when the next black swan will happen. Black swan event.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm being uber critical today, I think. I'm not a fan of tokens being used simply for reward mechanisms, however. And, to be honest, I'll go ahead and say it. I think I've said it to a number of times before, but just to be clear, I'm not a huge fan of DeFi. And I'm not it's not the decentralized autonomous infrastructure that I don't like. It's the fact that DeFi caters to a demographic of users that are simply motivated by returns and not so much motivated in technology or progression. And at the same time, in my mind, there's not a lot of value being created or introduced into the industry. It's just value that's kind of circulating around and changing hands. And so that's my skeptic opinion on DeFi, but you are right. There are real valuable avenues for users to stake their stable coin and escape the volatility of the market with these big ups and downs. If you think about it, this platform is not really allowing users to stake and hold their stable coin. In fact, if I had to guess, they would be taking any stable coin or hard currency staked in the platform and then purchasing and holding real world assets that might be far more illiquid than the stable coin. So I guess the benefit is there's real world assets that most likely hold value better than any other volatile currency on the cryptocurrency market, but they're less liquid. So if there were a bank run, there would be some liquidation issues and, people would not be able to get their cash as quickly. So that's an interesting thing to consider maybe.
I think there will always be bank run liquidity issues no matter what, like banks, all these exchanges. Everybody's going to have that problem if it gets bad enough, which is sad. I tend to agree with you on a lot of what you said. I think DeFi in its purest form is necessary and wonderful, but the degree of decentralization, there's no arbiter to say this is truly decentralized. It's up for us as users to decide, do I trust this as a decentralized product? Is there a heavy degree of control from a centralized team? What is decentralized about this? I didn't see any mentions of governance with the tokens. So that already tips me off that either they don't think it's important, at least in the early stage, or maybe there is no decentralized asset that governs this platform. So maybe it just works seamlessly, but it never changes. What my issue with this is, aside from the we're fully regulated, which doesn't mean a whole lot, it's almost a buzzword to me at this point. But what scares me is that this doesn't seem like it's anything new. Like I mentioned a few products I've used before that do more or less the same thing. It doesn't matter what they're collateralized by or if they're using real world assets. They have a system in place that works. You stake your stables, you get yield. Depending on what tier you have, you stake a certain amount, you reach a new tier, you get an extra percentage on your yield. All right, that's good and it's understandable. They give out their own token. I get it. This doesn't seem like it's anything that new. They're not designing new financial instruments. I'd be curious to see what their roadmap is. Like that's probably one of the things I would look to is what is your plan for next year and the year after that? You can't just stay what you've presented That's not enough for me as an investor. I would take a look into it. I think it's interesting. I think it's nice to have options, and I would recommend it to people that are, hey, do you know anything where you can stake your stables, where you can get yield, passive yield, real yield that's understandable and sustainable, not crypto degen yield, but real yield that's like realistic but helpful. So it's good to have options. I would definitely look more into it. But as an investment, because coming back to that, the point we always make, we are talking just with our investor hats on. Would you invest in this token before or during launch? And like you said, it's kind of a reward mechanism. I don't see, unless you're planning to use this product, which, it warrants consideration, especially for a company. You want to stake your treasury. You want to get some yield on your treasury. Makes sense. Maybe I would invest in the token just to use it. I like it from that angle, but I don't know enough about it to say I would comfortably invest in this yet.
Is that the verdict?
Yeah, it's pretty boring, but yeah, I would definitely look more into it. It's interesting enough to warrant that. Like, they've put a lot of care and time and attention into the launch strategy, the website, so they deserve that much. I don't know anything about the team as well, so I would definitely check out the team. They claim that they're, doxed. They're very proud. I think I saw in passing a live stream where they're like, check out our website. We have so much experience. We're very proud of that. So I'm curious to see where they've worked and why they're so confident. Maybe they're brilliant. I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah. And this goes back to the premise of the 10-minute eye test, right? We saw a few things that we could talk about that interested us. We did not nearly understand enough to make an informed decision on an investment. And that's what we want to showcase here for everyone watching who apes into investments, launch pads, everything, meme coins, based off of like a couple of tweets. I really agree with you on the product front that you mentioned. If you think of it from a user perspective, you're right. Nothing new is being invented here. It's just a new DeFi platform or protocol based on what we've seen. The only real thing that a user would consider is that the risk profile attached with using this DeFi platform and investing in these DeFi opportunities is different. Not better or worse, different, because we don't really know what's happening with the real world asset portfolio. We don't know what portion of the company's funds and portfolio is going to be invested in real world assets and how that's actively going to be managed. But it's technically, they claim real world assets versus what else other DeFi platforms would be doing with your staked and collateralized stable coins. So that part is different. The risk profile, like I mentioned, is different, but the user front, the product itself, you're right, nothing new has been invented. Still, it's a hype project coming to market. There's no mention of AI, which
true.
Maybe there's something here. There's something to dive deeper on. And yeah, the team and the production quality of the video. But I agree, like, as it stands with the token utilities, the tokenomics that we looked at, I would not consider the token as like a good viable investment right now. I'd want to learn more for sure. But yeah, I'd be willing to dive deeper. I'd say one thumb up, maybe one sideways. That's my verdict.
Yeah, and if the Soil team's watching this or somebody from the community and you're like, who are these guys and what do they actually know? Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to interview you. Like, make us eat our words. Maybe we're 100% wrong about this. We'd love to speak to you. We want to start talking to more people and learning more from the people that are building it, because who knows better than them and their community. So yeah, open invitation to come talk to us. I think we'll have like 100,000 followers soon. Like we're growing pretty quickly.
If you're brave enough, come talk to us. Just kidding. But yeah, it'd be great to talk more about this. Anyways, again, thanks everyone for watching, tuning in for this week's episode of the 10-minute eye test. We appreciate all the love, all the comments, everything. Be sure to keep that going. Slap that like button. If this content interests you and you want to see more of it, make sure you subscribe and reach out. Let us know if there's a cool project that you want us to dive into. We're just picking them based on what our community's telling us, and also sometimes what we see on Crypto Rank or the upcoming IDOs and token launches. As always, stay safe out there, do your due diligence, and see you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.